Mabuhay, or in Kapmpangan, luwid kayo. Today's question comes from Hong Kong. Jane asks, do you know about Admiral Zheng? Yes, I do. Admiral Zheng, or Zheng He, was a diplomat and an explorer for the Ming Dynasty of China. He was born around the year 1371 to a Central Asian Muslim family within the Mongol territory. He was not ethnically Chinese, but he was captured by the Ming army around the age of 10, and he was turned into a eunuch, which means that he was castrated and practically a slave to the imperial family. But he did not stay a slave for too long. He quickly worked his way up the ranks and rose to become one of the most trusted counselor of the Ming Emperor, Yongle. He is most famous for his 7 voyages between 1405 to 1433, a series of journeys that covered over 100,000 miles. It was meant to expand China's trade and contact with the outside world, and to raise the emperor's prestige. In his multiple expeditions, Admiral Zheng traveled throughout Southeast Asia. He visited places like Brunei, Champa in what is now Vietnam, Java and Palembang in what is now Indonesia, Ayutthaya in what is now Thailand, and Malacca in what is now Malaysia. And he ventured further into India and to the Persian Gulf in the Middle East and all the way to Kenya in Africa. His fleet was described to be huge. It had over 300 ships, twice that much of the legendary Spanish Armada. It was a famous treasure fleet carrying not only treasures, but also exotic animals and envoys from the various kingdoms and states he had visited, including a monarch from Ceylon, or what is now Sri Lanka. Some credit him for establishing Muslim Chinese communities along the shores of Java, Malaya, and even the Philippines. And some even go further and claim that he discovered the Americas back in 1421, decades before Christopher Columbus stumbled upon the so-called New World. Now, whether this is true or not, Admiral Zheng did succeed in expanding Chinese influence in maritime Asia for the next decades or even centuries. He was instrumental in forging stronger links between China and the present-day region of Southeast Asia. And this was all happening almost 100 years before European colonial expeditions into Asia, a century before Portuguese sailors found the way to India around Africa, before the Spaniards crossed the Pacific to reach the Philippines. European expeditions that led to the colonization of the region. But unlike European explorers or even the current tensions in South China Sea, Admiral Zheng He's expeditions was not meant to colonize. It was not meant to exploit people and natural resources to grow an empire. It was not intended to occupy Southeast Asia under China's rule, but instead, it was meant to improve and create stronger relations between China and its neighbors, and to gain respect with their trading partners from across the oceans. But if you want to talk about great sailors and explorers of the ancient days that ventured into the vast Pacific and Indian Oceans that may have also reached the Americas centuries before Admiral Zheng He was born, then look no further than the Austronesian people, the ancestors of the indigenous Southeast Asian and Polynesian people. But more on that in future videos. And that is it for me today. If you like this video, if you learned a thing or two, then don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, show your support and please be my patron. Kakalpong salamat. See you next time, or in Tagalog, kita kits, and in Kapmpangan, mi kitiks.